So up first we have a couple of these fantastic Red Hat beer coasters. Do we have a Yannick Dufresne here? Fantastic, come on down. Also Tony Moriarty. Oh, no, that's sad. Isaiah Langford. Okay. Adrian Maniatis. Hey. Okay, up next we have this fantastic pile of books donated by O'Reilly Media. Today we have a copy of the Python Pocket Reference, Flask Web Development, the third edition of the Python Cookbook by David Beasley, a copy of Functional Thinking, and the course book for our keynote presenters' Young Coders Workshop, Python for Kids. So let's see who we have here. Do we have a Dave Collins here? Yay. Fantastic. Katie Minnett. Net. No. Richard Shea. Oh. Nathaniel Kenmere. Fantastic. Lachlan Curry. See, this is why you need to show up to the Sunday keynotes on time, everyone. Kerry Raymond. Ooh. Anthony Parkinson. Gavin Hodge. Gavin Hodge, are you here?
I'm Gavin and so is my wife.
God, we have such a bunch of slackers this morning. This is terrible. Imran Shahid. Fantastic. Yay. Sarah Aiton. Okay, how about Chris Rogers? Simon Allen. God, this is terrible. Matt Samarco. We've actually gone through all 20 people on the list. Let this be a lesson to you all. So we have two more books for this afternoon's giveaways. Everybody, please welcome your fantastic organiser, Clinton Roy.
Good morning, everyone. I know a lot of you went to the dinner last night. I hope you all had a good time at that.
Far too many people.
All right. So this is just a little announcement for everyone during all the sessions today. Please don't sit at the end of your aisles. Please go into the centre. If people are trying to get into the last minute, they'll walk over your legs and all that sort of stuff. All right. So I'll just move that over there. So good morning to the second and final day of the official part of the conference. I hope everyone's had a good time yesterday. We've got a few people who are just coming in today, so welcome them and show them the ropes. We sort of did some last minute ticket types for a few people who could only come in for one day. So you might know all the traps and where everything's are, but there will be a few people who won't, so look out for them. So I think that number's a little bit old. I think there's a few more people than that, so I'm quite happy with those numbers, and we'll be looking to boost those again for next year. I think it's feeling like deja vu at this point.
No, that's the right.
It's all good?
Yeah.
All right. So an important part of our community, and therefore an important part of the conference, is our code of conduct. We're committed to making this conference safe and inviting for everyone in attendance. We have a strong code of conduct, which you agreed to when you registered, and which the organisers take very seriously. If you've not read it, please familiarise yourself with it. It is available on the conference website. T-shirts. We have T-shirts at the registration desk. If you registered and you've got a T-shirt and it's not quite the right size, from lunch we'll be able to do swaps for you. If we've got spares after that, from afternoon tea onwards, you might be able to score yourself an extra t-shirt. I certainly don't want to carry any of the leftover t-shirts home in my backpack, so please go get them. You'll be saving my back. We have another session of lightning talks. The sign-up board is outside on the whiteboards. I think there's about half the slots still open. Their lightning talk is a short form talk, 5 minutes only, no ads and no recruitment pitches. And you can talk on any topic that's of interest to you. So B3, our third breakout room, that is an open space room today, so that's set up pretty much like we're going to have S1 set up tomorrow for the sprints. So if you just want a quiet space to go and do some work, B3 is the best place to go do that. We've got Sunday schedules available in printed form at the registration desk, so you can pick those up on your way out. We've just put up a suggestions box in the hallway. It's a little bit further away from the rego desk, so you can write all those bad things about us, not feeling too uncomfortable writing it right next to us. So please put in your registrations, put in your suggestions, and we'll do our best to accommodate you for next year. The jobs boards, the two whiteboards. If you are offering work or you're looking for work, that's a really good space for it. Please keep in mind that lots of people are trying to fit their advertisements on there, so just keep them small. If they get too big, we will just rub them off. You know, the power of being a conference registration person, you can rub something off a whiteboard. We've got our Wi-Fi, the SSID is pycon-au, the password is Ask Clinton because someone thinks that's funny. Lunch today is uncatered, it's down on Grey Street. We do have some special deals with some of the vendors from the Icebreaker dinners, and that's all up on the wiki. Sponsors. We need to acknowledge our sponsors, without whom PyCon Australia would not be able to take place to the level that it does. I do have a big tin shed that's available to me, so if, we could run it there, but I think we'd all much prefer to be here. So our platinum sponsors. Our first platinum sponsor is Eventbrite. And now I'd like to welcome Simon Williamson, the Director of Architecture at Eventbrite, to say a few words.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, having bought our way on stage, I'd first like to say thank you very much for participating in this event. We're very proud to have sponsored it. And then I feel, having bought my way up here, that we have a moral imperative to at least try and show you something interesting and hopefully informative with the couple of minutes that we've got on the schedule today. So I'm going to show you a tool that we've been developing at Eventbrite, which we intend to open source and release to the community, that helps us sort of with debugging and understanding how our large-scale Django application is working. And that's a tool that we're calling the Tiki bar. It's this little orange bar that appears at the top of every page in Eventbrite. This is available to staff members only. And the idea is to try and provide insight into how the application is working, but with the smallest amount of performance overhead possible. If you're Django developers, you'll no doubt have used the Django debug toolbar, which is a fabulous tool, but has quite a big overhead. It does stack traces on every SQL call. It adds half a megabyte of HTML to the bottom of every page. It's not really something that you can run on a production site. It's only something that works in your development environment. So the Tiki bar is a much more lightweight implementation of a similar idea. And as you can see, it shows up at the top of the page. It's got a little tiki god grinning at you. It can show you a breakdown of time spent in SQL versus other things, shows you all of the SQL statements that have been used on the page. It can show which template files and view functions have been used. And because we know the most recently deployed Git hash, we can actually link these directly to view source on GitHub for that version of the page. So this gives you an instant view source for the server-side code that's powering your website. It'll show you log lines that are emitted. And then if you go to a page that uses AJAX calls, there's this little counter at the top, the requests counter, which ticks up in real time as those AJAX recalls trigger. If you open up that pane, you can actually inspect an individual AJAX call that was made on that page, and you can see the SQL queries and the log lines and the Python view function that was used for that as well. We also maintain a history of the most recent 20 requests that you've made, so that if you went through a redirect through a 301, we can still show you that, and I didn't go through a redirect, we can show you the full debug information from your previous request as well. Now, the important thing about a tool like this is firstly, it needs to not impact the performance of your site, and secondly, it needs to be as secure as you can make it. So the way we do that is, if we view source on this page, the only additional things on this page are a meta tag somewhere, a meta tag which has a unique ID in it, and then a single line JavaScript included at the bottom of the page that loads in everything else. So then based on that unique ID, that unique identifier actually maps to a memcached key. So at the end of each request that we serve, we take all of the debugging information we've collected during that request, we do a single write to memcache to write a JSON blob in that'll last for 5 minutes, and then if the tiki bar gets activated on the page itself, it can pull that data directly out of memcached and display it at the top of the page. The bar itself is in an iframe, which means that we can serve it over HTTPS, even if the rest of the page was served over HTTP. So I'm going to be around tomorrow for at least the morning of the sprints. If you're interested in this tool and want to potentially help us get it to a point where we can open source it, please come and talk to us. And of course, as a sponsor, I have to say that we are enthusiastically hiring Python Django developers. If you're interested, please come and talk to myself or Andrew Godwin down in the front. But thank you very much for your time.
Thanks very much, Simon. Our other Platinum sponsor is Red Hat. They are a local group. Nick's over there somewhere. Go speak to him if you'd like to. The words just aren't coming out right today. Thanks, Chris. Our gold sponsors, Google, Arnet, and NetBox Blue. I have to put in a special shout out to NetBox Blue, my employer. That generally means you show up to work and work. I haven't done that this week. Our parent organisation is Linux Australia. PyCon Australia is an event that's run under the auspices of Linux Australia, who provide the legal framework and financial support to make this event take place. So if you can imagine that putting deposits down and getting insurance and all those sort of things, doing those things for all of these events every time would be a nightmare. So Linux Australia does all of that setup work for us, and we just get to reuse that every year. I'm not going to do a jig for you.
Got another 2 books to give away.
That's true. Goodness me. How am I going to randomly pick 2 people without my sheet here? I know. Are there any of the mentors for the workshops here?
We don't need to delay anymore.
Oh, we don't need to delay anymore. Oh, okay. All right. Well, if any of the mentors for any of the workshops that we held on Friday are around, come to the Rego desk and we might have a surprise for you.